Hello everybody and welcome back to Witcombe Park Farm. So we are very much finishing, well, starting where we finished in the previous episode, that we really need to get the rest of this poplar in, and then will it need fertilising straight after? I'll have to have a look. But we have done, it's surprising actually how neat we've managed to do this. The fair dues at top right corner isn't so great, but over at the far end, that first lap of the headland we've done has sort of tidied it off really nicely. So it's going to be quite nice that once this is done we can just then forget about this field for a little while. Is it just me, or is there more plants in the rows now? I seem to remember it being very sparse on a row of poplar, but there seems to be a lot more. But anywho, we are going to get, I'm going to get cracked on and we're going to try and get all of this in. I'm hoping that we don't need another box of poplar, because we are 50% with this one. Fair dues, we used some to finish off doing the middle. I'm just hoping this will be enough to do the headlands, but as we all well know, the headlands seem to be one of the biggest parts to get round. So let's get onto that bit there, and then we try drop it somewhat like that. Just keeps it all looking nice, neat and tidy. I am going to just have to check how much a box of poplar is, because it's almost not really worth going to buy anymore here, because we just need to do two runs on that top bit of a headland. Look at that, that's almost perfectly gone to there. So let's just stop this and have a little look. So be down here. Oh, okay. £280 is not a lot in the slightest, so we might as well get it, and then we can at least finish the field and make it look all nice, neat and tidy. So I'll just bob down to the store. So what I was really hoping was that we could put the drill on this and just obviously drill the oat field that we need to do, and it just saves wear and tear on our vehicle, especially because what we're on 0.6 hours, so we've got another 4 hours, not 4 hours, we've got another 0.4 worth of time before we get an hourly charge. So it's trying to make the most of what we're doing, but by the time we drive back to the yard and get this done, I imagine we'll be on 0.8, which then makes you think, will we get the oat field drilled in time and then get back to the dealership before it charges us again? That's going to be the big question, because it will charge us a fair whack. The hourly fees always seem to be the biggest. So we're not at 0.7 just yet, so that's one positive. Let's just try get onto this line here, put that down, and right, I'll get this, I'll just jump cut this quickly as we just finalise this last little bit. We have just changed over into 0.7, so I reckon once we've finished this little bit, if we just get this back to the farm and go put the drill on straight away, we should be able to drill this field on the right with oats without incurring the hourly fee, even if we have to take some of this equipment down with our own machines, to return it. I don't think that is too bad a sort of change as it were. Well, exchange, I should say. Right, let's... come on. There. Right, so let's get that off. Hop back into here. And I believe the drill will be in here. Or at least I hope so. No masses there. yeah, let's put this on and then we will look to do some oats. And I forgot you can't see out the back of this thing. And I think I said in the previous episode, I'm so glad that we've actually demoed this, because it has shown a few things to me in regards to if we were to have bought it. That's on. Oh, look at this. Oh, all tractors should have this on. That's the interactive controls. I know not a lot of them actually do it. Does that mean have I got buttons in the cab, or is that just outside? Okay, that's a very, very big positive that I can lift implements from the outside. But anyways, let's go. Let's press Y until we get to oats. And we will get this field drilled. This is going to be tight, 0.9 hours. So we need to get this dropped off and we can take any machine back, but it's the fertilizer spreader and the poplar planter. We need to get them back and to the dealership. We also need to get them washed off. But the dealership has, with all the money that's made off us with leasing and whatnot, it has actually got a pressure washer down there, so we don't need to keep messing on at hours washing. And I have just crashed into our own tractor, which I've been trying to save. But again, this is really cool that I can just do that. I don't know why is that not base game? Like, surely something like that you would imagine should be in the base game, that you can, for the realism side of it all, it's what actually happens in tractors. And it will accommodate for a lot of people to be able to do that. But anyways, in the meantime, we just have to settle for it not being there. Right, let's get this on and I will see you down at the dealership. So I do not want to know how close we've come to going over that hour mark. So let's just turn that off and leave it here. We can then go and grab, which we shouldn't really be doing this inside here, but for the time being I think it will work for us. So we'll get this washed off and we'll get the class washed off. Just like so. That's going to be very, very handy. The dealership now have that there. So we want to, let's return this. Yes, please. And then we will return this. So we need to repay 1,867. So off here, we're still on the bronze rate, so 1,867, which you can see that's now been repaid because we're not owed that in the slightest. And let's get back up to the farm. So I have just had a look at the mini map and looking at rolling, and where we've planted the poplar, where the poplar actually is, it doesn't say it needs rolling, but it does say it needs rolling elsewhere. So I don't know whether, would it be a wise idea to go roll the poplar field just to get rid of all the blue on the minimap, which I can show you here. So obviously that's where all poplar's planted, and then in between is the blue. Or at least I hope it'll definitely be that way around. I am going to have a look to see whether we roll it just to clean that up. And obviously 47 needs a roll as well. So that's a good, nice little job for us to do. And then I need to find out when maize silage is to be put in. I imagine that will possibly be next month. It'd be silage maize. Yeah, next month we can get that in. So let's just have a little look. So if I roll that and go back onto the map, I don't think it's doing anything. Should we have rolled it before we drilled it, maybe? Yeah, absolutely nothing. So that confirms it. We won't bother doing that, but we will get straight down to 47, which luckily is just there, and we'll get that rolled instead. Well, that certainly was unbelievably fast to do that. Yes, it puts it into perspective how long it's taken us to get the poplar in and get that field sorted compared to this one, which has just all been done just in an absolute flash. But anyways, let's go we'll go park this up, which, did I say I was going to put this in a different barn because it's not as tall as all our other implements? I can't quite remember, to be fair. Let's see, is there anything in this barn here? No. So let's see if we can reverse it into there. You know, one thing, we don't want it to be much longer or bigger, because this yard is starting to feel rather tight, and I've already messed that up. So let's see if I can... I don't think I'll be able to shimmy this round where we are. I'm going to say that I am almost stuck. So I have got it in, and I think it'll be the last time that I go to put this in here. It's just far too... Oopsie. Let's... I went to go lower that and it was unfolding. It's just far too tight to try and get through into there. So let's drop that off. And actually, we'll turn it off as well, because the next vehicle we want is the Fendt, which we haven't actually driven that in a long time. So we're going to jump into that. We will put fertiliser on to the poplar field, which I believe it should take fertiliser. Oh, I need to return that as well. So that can be, we can finish on doing that most likely. So let's get into here. Liquid fertiliser is in. We're going to have to wait for the engine to warm up, so which that's doing fairly quickly. But yeah, we'll get the poplar sprayed, and then we can get the fertiliser spreader back, and then that'll do. We're flying through jobs today, which is quite nice, because I know some episodes you get where it just feels like you've gone real steady all episode, but it's nice to see that stuff is getting done. So let's just go park this back up. We might as well go put it back into the workshop, and then we'll jump into the Massey and get the fertiliser and line spreader on, and then, like I say, we'll get that to the dealership, and then that will be it for this episode. I also need to have a look up when it is ready to put alfalfa in. So I said jump into here. Let's just have a look back on our calendar. I should have looked at it previously. So alfalfa, where you'll be at the top, are you? So next month alfalfa can go in, and was it maize silage? Well, silage maize, I should say. Yeah, so next month's going to be a very busy one, because we'll have two crops to drill, one to do with the planter. Obviously 2 crops to roll, so that gives us 4 time lapses there. And we may also have to keep an eye on our money, because £3,500 does not fill me with a lot of confidence, just in case we need something. And we're going to lose possibly over £1,000, maybe £2,000 overnight, just to pay for the upkeep of our buildings, as well as the hire purchase we have for the tedder. Was it the tedder and the rear mower we got on hire purchase? I'm sure they're both second hand, but hire purchase agreements. Uh-oh. Right, what's going on here? Hold on. Let me get through before you lot decide to do whatever you lot are doing. Right, and I'm going to make the most, considering we're here, and this pressure washer that the dealership have is a lot easier to access and use than what ours is. I am going to make the most of washing off our tractor as well, which is only 38% dirty, so it's not too bad, but we might as well whilst we're here. Surprisingly, the fertiliser spreader was the exact same. So with that clean, we will head back to here again. Onto here. Let's return. Yes, please. So that's done. Let's go out here. Hey, we're on silver now. Rank silver, so we get a 10% bonus. Just read total 31. So you need, what's that, 30 points to get the silver package. So that is definitely going to help us a lot further down the line. The more and more we can do of that, the more and more it sort of makes sense for us to hire instead of buy. But anyways, on that note, I just want to say thank you very much for watching. I hope you've all liked and enjoyed the video, and I will see you again in the next one. Bye for now.